Hello, so I'm going to give a quick explanation on how to manipulate special items in Toy Pop. So, the version I'm going to be using for demonstration here is the PlayStation Namco Museum Volume 1 port, but I would assume it works the exact same if you were to use the PCB or MAME or Arcade Archives. So, if you've ever watched a playthrough of Toy Pop, or have even just played through the game yourself, you may be familiar with the fact that there are special items that have a random chance of spawning from an empty box on each floor. So here's an image showing what all 5 of them are. I don't know who to give credit to for this image. So you have the jet boots, which increases your speed. You have the hourglass, which temporarily freezes time and all enemies. You have the flower, which gives you invincibility. You have the fork, which turns all enemies on screen into cakes that are 300 points each. And you have the lantern, which will open all boxes that contain power-ups. Now, for the longest time when I was playing this game, and I would assume most other people when they play this game, I assumed these spawns to be random, as in whichever power-up spawned would just be random. But when watching, there are 2 runs of Toy Pop on ReplayBurners that I'll link in the description of this video, where the players in those videos were able to get forks to appear on almost every stage, which is like incredible because that's the best way to get score. But I could never find out any discernible pattern as to how this works. I thought, well, maybe it's dependent on which digit of your score is a certain value. Maybe it's dependent on when you exit with how much time is remaining. Nothing was adding up. But thankfully, O5 Pro, shouts to them, brought this to my attention, and I would assume this has been common knowledge for Japanese players and players in other regions of the world possibly for a while, but it just wasn't known overseas by that many people. So I'm just going to show you this tweet that they sent me. So when you clear a stage, you need to add the tens and hundreds digits of your score together, and both of these are values that can only be from 0 to 9. So the range is from 0 plus 0, which is the low end of the range, and then the high end of the range is 9 plus 9. So the values you can get will range between 0 and 18. And the ones digit of that calculation, when those 2 digits are added together, will determine the special item. Now, this is all in Japanese, but I believe I know what we're looking at here. So if the sum gives a ones digit of 1, then the item will be, let me double check here. I believe that's, hold on. Yeah, it will be the lantern. If it's a 2, I believe that's the jet boots. Yes. A 3 is a fork. A 4 is an hourglass. The 5 is the flower. And then a 6 through 0, I would assume this means it doesn't give anything. So this might seem like a lot of... So basically it all comes down to mathematics. So we're going to switch back to the game feed here, and I will attempt to demonstrate this. So let's say I want to manipulate a fork to appear. Well, there are 2 score values that will cause that to happen, and they are 3 and 13. So I need to add up enough. Numbers that I need to have the tens and hundreds digits of my score add up in such a way that it will give me either a 3 or a 13. So I'm just going to kind of bumble around here until I happen to get something that lines up here. Okay, so right now it's 17, 19, 21, just pause real quick to make sure. Okay, so right now it's 13. So if I were to exit the floor right now, and then move on to the next floor, so the power-up that spawns here from an empty box should be a fork. Unfortunately, I have to actually find it first. That can take a while. Yeah, okay, there we go. So there you go. So that's the fork. And that'll be the case for every single instance of this. So I can just grab that. And there we go. Now, the important thing to understand is that, and I have to game over here because Namco Museum Volume 1 doesn't let you exit games for some reason. So, this calculation and the sum is determined when the next floor starts, not when you enter a door. So, when you clear all the enemies and hearts in a stage, you will get a bonus, which is a 500-point initial bonus, and then 10 points for every second of time remaining. So, and it's not when you enter the door that calculation is determined. It's after that bonus is given to you. So I'm going to clear all the enemies on a floor, and then we're going to kind of try and demonstrate what you would have to do here. Because another thing I noticed about the ReplayBurners runs is that they would often wait at the end of each floor for a seemingly random amount of time. And I always consider this to be waiting for the RNG to reach a certain value or something, which would probably give credence to dual assistance, but now that I know this mechanic, it seems very more likely that they were just manipulating it. So I cleared all the enemies. Alright, I could get some more points here, but I'm just going to stop here. So right now, the 2 digits of my score add to a... So 9 plus 1, that equals 10. So I need it to add up to... I need it to add up to either 13 or 3. So that's going to be dependent on the timer at the end here. So I'm going to have to wait here. So right now, if I exit with 44, then that'll give me 910 plus 500. That will give me 1410, which that would add up to 5, plus an additional 430. So I should actually... So let's start by adding 900 to my score. By adding 500 to my score, sorry. So that would give me 1410. So those 2 digits would add up to... that's a 4 and a 1, so those would add up to 5, which is way short of what I need. If I were to exit it with a value of 44 right now, that would be 1410 plus 440, which would, I believe, be 1850, and that would give me that would actually give me the numbers I wanted. So I'm going to try to exit. Okay, that should work. So this should give me 1850 if I did my math correctly. Yes. So 8 plus 5, that is 13. So I should be able to get a fork here. I forgot that boxing glove was there. Now, I don't think you can control where in the level the special items spawn, so you still might have to do some carving around here. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so there you go. And so that's how you would manipulate it. That's how you would manipulate forks to appear. Forks are the best. You could do this for any of those 5 items, but forks are probably the best if you're going for score. If your main goal is survival, I would probably say manipulate the lantern. And this is also why most of the time you don't get anything, because if we go back to the table here, oh, that's not the right one. There it is. 6 through 0, that's 50% of the possible values, so 50% of the time you just won't get anything. Which is why that seems to happen so much more often than you'd think. And before I go, I actually want to demonstrate one other thing that isn't really related to bonus items, but... So the bonus boxes actually work in a very similar way, where they're simply dependent on your current score going into the level. But it revolves less around mathematics. So I'm going to read the DM that they sent to me. The thousands, hundreds, and tens digits of the score refer to the left, right, and middle trees. They fall in order of smallest number to highest. Where numbers in your score are the same, it will go with the leftmost of the equal numbers first. So let's pick a bonus round. We'll pick level 7 just so that I can actually manipulate the score. And I'll just kind of I'll just try to aim to complete the level as quickly as possible. So right now, the thousandth digit of my score is a 0, the hundredth digit is a 4, and the tens digit is a 9. So if we're going to follow this pattern, they should fall in order of left, right, middle. Okay, there we go. That's the first one. That's the second. And there you go. So there you go. You can manipulate the bonus boxes as well. Or at least you can predict them. Now, in terms of manipulating the special items, this is probably a lot easier said than done, because it would mean you have to do some math on the fly. But hopefully, within due time, some kind of table can be created. I might work on it myself. That will allow you, that you can look at and use as a reference point to know if you have a certain score at the end of the level, what kind of score you would expect to achieve when you get a particular bonus value. So hopefully this helps to people who are interested in playing through the game some more. And again, shoutouts to O5 Pro for telling me all of this.